All right, welcome guys to the NBA live stream. We only have one game to go over. It's the Nets and the Bucks, but I am super excited for this game and excited for the show on slate too. I think it's kind of interesting. You can go 3 stars here and a little bit, slight upgrades in the value plays. You can roll the dice, maybe go 4 stars, and then maybe 2 like really really cheap guys. But then you have to weigh out like, is one star plus 2 like really cheap guys better than like 3 4K guys? That's what you have to ask yourself, right? So I think it's a good question. All right, let's go over what we know. We know PJ Tucker is expected to start. We have Harden, Kyrie, Joe Harris, Durant, and Griffin starting for the Nets. I'm guessing PJ Tucker is going to start for Pat Connaughton, who started the previous game against a 240 over-under, so there should be a lot of points scored, and the Nets are 4-point favorites. So starting off with the Milwaukee Big Three, we have Giannis, Middleton, and Drew. Giannis is a guy that it's just hard for me to get away from him. Love the matchup here. He's probably going to play 40 minutes. So, all that being said, Giannis is probably the safest play on the board with a ton of upside. I talked about it a little bit in the video, but like with him compared to like the Big Three of the Nets, like if Milwaukee keeps this game competitive, it's going to be a big game from Giannis. So, I think Giannis is very, very safe with upside. Probably the safest spend up on the showdown slate. With the secondary plays for Milwaukee, it is close with Middleton and Drew. I think the way I would give the slight edge to Drew is because the assist, right? He's really been handling the ball a lot more, 15, 12, 9 the last 3 games as far as assist totals. Should play about 40 minutes. They need his defense and guys like Kyrie and on a guy like James Harden. So I like Drew Holiday as well. Not saying Middleton is out of play. I just think he is more of the contrarian option, or I would say my third favorite of the Big Three there for the Bucks. Scrolling down a bit more. So, Brook Lopez at 6.4K is a fair option. It's just like it's a little bit hard to get to him at this price point if you are playing like 3 stars, right? So let's just throw like 3 stars in our lineup and see how much that leaves us with left over for salary, right? So it'll just go, I don't know, Giannis, Durant, and Kyrie. So it leaves us like 4K remaining, right? If you pick 3 stars. So it's going to be a little bit difficult actually to get to the guys in the mid-range, I think, unless you go like 2 stars. And I definitely don't want to do that. I definitely don't want to go more balanced. So, with that being said, I think it's just hard for me to prioritize a guy like Brook Lopez. I think he's a fair play, should play about 30 minutes, but the price point makes him a little bit more difficult to get to. Same thing with Bryn Forbes. Now, he's way riskier, right? He's super reliant in the scoring. He can go out and get you 25 to 30. He can also go out and get you 5. So, and he's no longer cheap anymore. So I'm not super interested in a guy like Bryn Forbes. Cheaper options, like Bobby Portis is a fine tournament play off the bench. We kind of know what his role is, 15 to 20 minutes. Good point per minute guy. And fair option, he's a little bit easier to get into than a guy like Brook Lopez for price. Pat Connaughton, no one's ever getting excited about playing him, but like I think we get about 20 minutes. Again, the price point makes him a little bit easier to get to. I think PJ Tucker is going to be super popular on the show on the slate. Now, he's way different than Boban, right? Boban was a great point per minute guy, whereas PJ Tucker, not so much. So I'm expecting, somewhere around 25, maybe to 30 minutes. They need his defense, obviously, but he's just not going to do much on the offensive end. But I do think he's actually one of the safer value plays because the minutes should be there for him. And then that's really it for Milwaukee. Like, I don't think anyone else plays. Jeff Teague might play a couple minutes if you want to roll the dice on him in tournaments and maybe hope for some foul trouble like Drew Holiday or something like that. I mean, you can. It's just not something I'm going to be looking to go to for my lineup. So let's move on to the Nets real quick. I'll ask you guys, you're just coming in, if you could leave a like button on the live stream. It does help me out a lot. And let's move on to the Nets now. So on the Nets, we have Harden and KD at the top. Harden has shown he has more upside, or the most upside of the Big Three, with a 270 bombs and a 63 in there in the last 3 games. The assist totals have been insane for him. Again, he has the ball in his hands a ton. So Harden's the guy that has the most upside of the Big Three. I think Kevin Durant might have, it might be the safest play and is a little bit cheaper than Harden, but maybe doesn't possess the 70-plus fantasy point upside. So with those big two of Harden and KD, I think, again, Harden has more upside. KD maybe the slightly safer option for $1,000 less. And then you have Kyrie, I think, more of the contrarian option because he has shown he has the lowest floor of the big three, 32, 29, and 36 fantasy points in 3 of the last 4 games for Kyrie. So I think what that will do, that will lower the ownership on this showdown slate, but he can still go out and get you 40 to 50 fantasy points, like definitely. Right? He went for 63 2 games ago. So the upside is still there with Kyrie. I just think he has the lowest floor, which should lower, he should be the lowest owned of the bunch. Now, a guy like Joe Harris, the same thing I'll say about Brook Lopez. You know, he's going to play minutes, but I have a hard time prioritizing him at this price. It just doesn't make a ton of sense, right? It's going to be really hard for me to get to a guy like Joe Harris. Plus, he's pretty reliant on the scoring, so probably not going to go there. Value-wise, I think Bruce Brown makes for probably one of the safer value plays in the board. With no Jeff Green, he's played 24 and 24 minutes in back-to-back games. He's a guy that can do a little bit of everything, right? He's a decent defender, too, so I think Bruce Brown is pretty safe, assuming we get similar run, and I do think we get similar run of about 20 to 25 minutes. Blake Griffin is starting. Are you getting excited about playing him? Absolutely not, but I would guess we get close to 20 minutes from Blake, which makes him in play because of the price. You're going to have to play at least a couple of these cheap guys. Jeff Green is not playing. Claxton at 2.8, I would think we get about 10 minutes, but there's been rumors that DeAndre Jordan might play here. Here, I'll read off the exact quote because I think it's pretty important. So, because DeAndre Jordan's like a good point per minute guy. Ask Steve Nash if he had a clear understanding of how they plan to use DeAndre Jordan or if it'll be dependent on game flow. He said it'll be more of the latter, a wait and see approach. So, take that for what you will. Like, it looks like they have a plan for DeAndre Jordan. I'm not sure. I think there's still a chance to get a DNP, so it makes this big rotation a little bit riskier. So I will mention DeAndre Jordan, and he did not play at all in that last series, but he is a good point per minute guy, and if he sees the court, of course I've mentioned him at 1K, but I also think if you play him, there's a chance he doesn't play. So high risk, high reward play there with the DeAndre Jordan. It's really, really gross, but he's below 2K and should play 15 to 20 minutes. That's, really the only guy below 2K that you can expect those type of minutes for in Landry, Shamet. Right, Shamet and PJ Tucker are the guys that are like super, super cheap that you at least expect some decent run from. I think we get somewhere around 15 to 20 minutes. Now, again, he's awful point per minute guy, but he is 1.8K. And then finally, I'll mention Tyler Johnson because he has played about 10 minutes so far. He played 10 minutes so far in that last series. I would assume we get some run for Tyler Johnson. I think there's also a chance he gets a DNP though too. So like a DeAndre Jordan, a high risk, high reward play, and obviously with him not playing a ton, he's probably not going to do much for you. So that's kind of more Matt for the team by team breakdown, guys. So leaving a little bit of room for questions. Again, roster construction. What you have to ask yourself is, all right, is something like this, right? Let's just do. Again, this is not exactly what I'm playing, but let's just say we throw something like that in there. So then you have like about 4K remaining. Is it better to go, a couple, like 3 of these like 4K guys, 3 4K guys, or is it better to get one more star and then punt with a couple 1K guys that are super high risk, high reward, right? Because at least my thought process is, hey, we know where the productions come from in both teams, right? It's the big 3 of each team. I think, one of the cheaper options of either big 3, like a Kyrie, a Drew Holiday, or Middleton, I think they could personally outscore all of the 4K guys combined, right? So and then you just need a couple points from your 1K guys if you go that route. So again, that's the question you have to ask yourself. You could go someone a little bit cheaper in the captain, like one of the cheaper options of the big 3 of Drew, Middleton, or Kyrie. If we go Drew there, let's see, and go Harden, I don't know. It still doesn't open up a ton more. So then you're kind of in the same situation of do you want to go one more star and punt with a couple really cheap guys? Or do you want to go the 4K route and go Bruce Brown, maybe Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton? That's a question you have to ask yourself. So tricky one there, but I would definitely try to get 3 stars. I wouldn't play 2 and go balance. I definitely wouldn't do. I personally would not do something like this of pick 2 stars and then more balanced with Brook Lopez, Bryn Forbes. Yuck. No, that doesn't make any sense. So 3 to 4 stars, I think. I think the 3 stars might be the safer option, but again, I think that the 4-star approach is still doable. You're just the other 2 guys in your lineup. You just got to pray they can get you some fancy points. So that's where I'm at, guys. Let's get some questions here. Bruce Brown said Johnson will have a huge role in the series. Tyler Johnson, that is. Pat Connaughton and Giannis, or Brooke and Kyrie. Yeah, for me, it's Pat Connaughton and Giannis. I just think Giannis has a super high floor. I think Pat Connaughton will definitely get some run. So like I would just roll the dice and hope Pat Connaughton can get at least some fancy points. How much do you save making Harden MVP or Giannis as it is? You might have to ask that question again. Sorry. I'm playing Drew, KD, Middleton, and one of them, Harden or Giannis. Can't pick one of them. Yeah, I mean it's pretty close to Giannis with Giannis and Harden. I think Giannis is probably the slightly safer option of the two. Both have pretty similar upside. Giannis captain with Harden, Durant, Brown, Tucker, and Shamit. Okay, yeah, so I like that, right? You got 3 stars, and then you got 3, decently solid value plays, I guess. Why play Claxton rather than Jordan, honestly? Yeah, I think they said there's a chance, like, from what I'm reading in the quotes, I think there's a chance DeAndre Jordan plays here. I also think, though, he still could get a DNP, so it's risky. But, like, let me just say this. If I knew DeAndre Jordan was going to play, 15 minutes off the bench, I would play him. I would play him because he's 1K, and he'll probably get you, a few buckets and some rebounds, and maybe a block shot or 2. So, like, yeah, dumb to fade Harden. No, you can make it work. There's other routes you can go, so you don't necessarily have to play Harden. Captain Holiday with Durant, Greek, Middleton, Tucker, and Claxton. Yeah, so that's like, I honestly kind of prefer a build like that where it's just like you pick 4 stars because like the production is so where it's coming from in both teams, right? So I slightly prefer the build of you pick 4 stars and you just pray the value plays don't kill you that you play. Harden and Tucker, or Giannis and Pat Connaughton. Ooh, that's close. I'll go the second one. Claxton, captain, Harden, Giannis, KD, Drew, PJ Tucker. See, I don't think it's worth it to do that. I really don't. Because you're playing Claxton and the captain with PJ Tucker. So those are 2, gross value plays. They are, and you have 4 stars. But why not do something like, this? And then, 2 1K guys. Why not do that? You have someone that's actually really good in the captain. I don't think it's worth it to go that route of, Claxton in the captain. I don't think it's worth it to go value play in the captain here. Thoughts on Giannis in the captain with Bruce Brown, PJ, KD, Harden, and Shamit. Looks pretty good to me. Pat or Tucker? I think Tucker's going to be more popular. I think he is a little bit safer. I do. For tournaments, though, I'm fine going to Pat Connaughton. I think he's slightly better point per guy than Tucker, even though both are not that good at producing fantasy points. Yeah, I wouldn't play I would play one of the big 3 of either team in the captain. Are you playing PJ Tucker? I'm not playing PJ Tucker because he's going to be very popular. I think he's an interesting fade in tournaments. No, well, Tucker will play. He'll play. What about Jeff Teague? He might play a couple minutes in the series or in this game. He played 5 minutes last game, so he's 1K. But I guess I would feel a little bit better about Tyler Johnson, who actually has gotten about 10 minutes so far recent games. Can you go value in the captaincy? I just don't think it's worth it. I kind of messed around with it with my Patreon private roster instruction video. I personally don't think it's worth it to do it. I don't think it saves you enough to go that route. 4 stars. So how does this mean? Does this mean we have to play like a Drew Holiday captain, or can you make Giannis work? Well, if you go like a Giannis or a KD, you can do that route, but then you might have to play like a couple 1K guys or like a 1K and a 2K guy. Some of these guys might get a DNP. I just don't understand why Tyler Johnson get even at second. Yeah, I mean, there's a chance, right? There's high risk, high reward with Tyler Johnson and DeAndre Jordan, right? Not high reward because Tyler Johnson is not a good point per minute guy, but there's a chance he gets a DNP, and there's a chance DeAndre Jordan doesn't play either. So take that for what you will. Drew captain with Giannis, KD, Kyrie, Shamit, and Tucker. See, that looks pretty good to me. Those 2 value plays are going to play in Shamit and Tucker, and you have 4 stars. Like that, I like. Yeah. Tucker or Connaughton. Again, I think Tucker's probably the slightly safer play since he's starting. I actually might prefer Connaughton for lower ownership for GPPs. All right, guys, coming down to the wire. I'll stay in for another minute. As a Rockets fan, guys, don't play Tucker in tournaments. Yeah, I mean, Tucker's going to be popular. He allows you to get more stars in there. Who's the safest captain? I think Giannis. Is. Yeah. Content is unreal, by the way. Congrats. Hey, appreciate that, Billy. Thank you so much. I really do. Captain, Kyrie, Giannis, Durant, Brown, Portis, and Shamet. I like it too, right? So it's 3 stars. You got a little bit, of the safer value plays. I like the upside on Portis in about 15 to 20. Bruce Brown, I think, is a very safe value play, and Shamet should at least play. You're taking a shot on DeAndre Jordan. I roll the dice. Yeah, so I am taking a shot on Jordan, hoping he plays. I know there's a chance though he gets a DNP, and I'm willing to live with that if he does not play. Yeah. Jordan or Tyler Johnson, both have a chance to get DNP. I will say if both played 10 minutes, I would rather have DeAndre Jordan. Right? If both played the same minutes, I would rather have DeAndre Jordan. He's the better point per guy. So like, if you're gonna roll the dice and roll those guys, it's tough though because Tyler Johnson's actually been in the rotation. So like, it is a tough one. Maybe Tyler is slightly safer for that reason of like, I think there's a better chance he plays. But like I said, if both played similar minutes, if both played 10 minutes or both played 15 minutes, give me Jordan over Tyler Johnson there. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. So good luck. Enjoy this game. Yeah, go Bucks. Go Bucks. Definitely rooting for them, Matthew. And I'll see you guys. We have 2 games tomorrow. 2 games. So not a show on slate. 2 games will be nice to talk about. I'll be live for that as always. So good luck, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow early. I think it's a noon stream. Or noon tip-off. So I'll be live early tomorrow. I'll see you guys all then.